Hello gang, welcome to the channel, and today we're going through Alliance Battle Legend. The last updates gave us some characters that we can utilize their multiple supports, new meta DPS characters like Luna, and I want to make a list for all 14 days of ABL one by one, where to use the CTP of Insight, what supports you should care to build for every single day, and leaderships, and of course the best DPS and some alternatives with their CTPs. So let's go one by one, and let's start from round 1. And round 1, it's the speed female human, which is the the round that has changed multiple times the last 2 months. Used to be the best Gwen, but now it's Luna, and yeah, let me show you what I'm talking about. The new best team to use, it's Wave Leadership, White Fox as a support, and Luna Snow DPS. Luna Snow DPS could be level 80 or tier 4. She is out of your mind good, and of course you need to utilize a Mighty Rage or a Brilliant Rage with her to perform the best. And as a second place, I would go for Gwen. I would suggest you to use White Fox as CTP of Insight, because White Fox, it's a character that you can use with the leadership characters, and you can use her with Thor to farm rifts. You can use her on multiple game modes like World Boss Legend, while Wave is having a leadership that it's not that good, but has a support buff that can be used. But in the same time, I feel like Fox is the best character to use for this day. So it's Luna, Gwen, and after that goes Shadow Cell. So let's go into round 2. So as you saw, in round 1 we have a new character which is Luna, and on round 2 we also have a new character for Blast Supervillain Male. We just took Mysterio, and perhaps he's not the meta for DPS, but in the same time he is so rare. He's so rare because he's a male support character, and I mean male blast support and supervillain character. This is super rare tag, and the only other character that has the same tag and it's support, which is really old and bad support, it's Cyclops. So Mysterio came into the game and supporting Magneto. Magneto needs to be, as leadership, because he's the best to use for this day. But after Magneto, I would suggest to go as a free-to-play choice and no tier 4 choice, Mysterio 100%. Mysterio is doing a lot of damage with the CTP of Judgment or Rage. Sorry, go to Emperor Doom. And yes, this is the best team to use: Magneto lead, Mysterio, and Cyclops. And in my opinion, the best character to use your CTP of Insight, it's Mysterio, because you can use him for Blast Male Day of ABX also, or Blast Villain Day. Cyclops now is kind of B-tier from the support, so I already unequipped the Insight from him. So best DPS Magneto, 2 supports. Second choice, Mysterio right now. Mysterio feels like he is outperforming Iron Man tier 4 with the villain uniform, Mephisto, and only Magneto seems to be the best choice here. So let's go into round 3. For round 3, you should use the character that you can get the best score with it, and for my account and for most people account, the best character to use for this day is Jean Grey. With Jean Grey, a really good team up is leadership of Black Cat. Of course, you need to have the artifact of this character. For the rest of the characters I was talking about before, you don't actually need their artifacts, but in case you want to, your girl here, Black Cat performing, you need her last paywall uniform, and you need her artifact to be able to use her and outperform other leaderships for Jean Grey. One great leadership for Jean Grey also is Ghost Panther, who provides you 30% fire damage, but in the same time he provides a lot of passive ability for fire characters like this fire damage here 80%, 45%. But because this day it's also the round 3, it's also universal superhero, you need to be sure that you are not going to use your Ghost Panther for this day, and you're gonna save him for Jean Grey, who supports here the best. As second support, if you don't have Black Cat, is Dazzler, and of course it's Valkyr with her artifact or Dazzler without artifact. You can figure out yourself a really good team to use with Jean. The team I use and most player is Black Cat and Ghost Panther, or instead of Ghost Panther, Dazzler, or instead of Dazzler, Valkyr. There are others like Morgan Le Fay, but yes, Jean Grey feels like still doing the best damage for ABL until now. Let's go to round 4. For round 4, we still have Jean Grey here, because she is the universal female with the most damage output, of course, but now the leadership and the support are changing. The best characters to use here is leadership of Satana and Morgan Le Fay as a support character. Morgan Le Fay, to be honest, totally worth having a CTP of Insight, and you can double use here. You need her last uniform to perform and have the passive ability that gives her 70% in total buff to your group. If you are universal type, it's 35% basic attack and 35% damage against both types. So yes, again, Jean Grey is here in the top of the meta for this list, and to be honest, there's not a lot of female universal that can compete here at all. So let's go to the next one and round 5. For round 5, we're again into human female, so smells like Luna Snow. This time the team up could be a bit different, because She-Hulk feels like providing more damage as a leadership than any other character, so I would rather using She-Hulk as a lead. You can see 65% damage, basic damage dealt to male types, feels to do the most increase, and comparing to Wave, she feels outperforming here, you know, She-Hulk. That's why I told you to use CTP of Insight to your Fox, so you can have here for all the days, and you can change only the leadership for this day. But Wave, to be honest, is pretty much the same, so no big deal if you're missing She-Hulk with your last uniform, or even with the previous uniform. So Luna, again, top of the meta. Of course, you can use here Gwen also. I'm using Gwen, I'm using Luna, depending. I feel myself with the new uniform, even at level 80, Luna scores pretty much the same with my Gwen at tier 4 as the video I did last week. So yeah, let's go into the next one, and Luna again here, yeah. For round 6, we have Combat, Supervillain, and Male, and this is a character that came like a couple of months ago, but he feels to be the top meta character, DPSing really a lot compared with the other characters we have on Combat Villain, and it's no other than Dr. Octopus, again with CTP of Raids. As you already know, CTP of Raids feels to be the best for every single character for ABL and ABX, and here you can utilize Abomination leadership. There is other alternatives, but Abomination feels to be the best for this day, and also Taskmaster feels the best choice to go for a CTP of Insight. There are not a lot of supports on Combat Villain Day, and these characters are so specific. You need to use these specific characters to have the maximum damage with Dr. Octopus. As a second alternative, I would go for Namor, which is the character I am using myself, but still, you know, Dr. Octopus feels to be the very best for this day, 100%. So yeah, let's go to round 7. Round 7 has the same meta character basically for more than 1 year, and that's Storm. It's Blast superhero mutant. Of course, there is Professor X also who compete with Storm, but Storm, it's the number 1 for this day, 100%, because there is another similar day which you have to use female. What I'm talking about is round 11, when you can use also superhero, mutant and female. So the tags makes you want to build one specific character for these 2 days, and in my opinion Storm worth the best for this, because Professor X can't be used on the female day. So I'm gonna go 2 for 1 in this day and tell you the best team for both round 11 and 7 in the same time. So that's the team up. Polar is lead, Dazzler as a support. Dazzler could have also the CP of Insight or Polaris. People used to use here Cyclops too, but this is the best characters to use. Storm here feels like the best choice, but Professor X competing here really a lot. So you can use him if you have him tier 4. This specific round 7, if you have your Jean Grey with her old uniform and you don't have Storm or Professor X, Jean Grey is like the third option here. She is out of your mind good, even if with this 3 or 4 year old uniform she is doing more than 6 million for me, and I've seen people doing 7.5, 8 million. So if you have a really good Jean Grey with her old uniform, you can use her. But the point is that at round 11 you can't use Jean Grey because she is usable for ABX this day. So I'm gonna talk about that on round 11, but yeah, stuck to this. Storm, Polaris, Dazzler 100% the best deal for this day. Next round is round 8, and for round 8 again Luna Snow feels to be the best for this, but because there is no human tag here, it's only speed female, you can have another choice there. So as I told you before, Wave, White Fox and Luna Snow feels to be the best. Gwen is an alternative, but in the same time there is another character that can take place on this day, which is Gamora. Gamora feels to be the second best after Luna Snow, but Luna Snow feels like she's outperforming everyone on tier 4 for ABL, but Gamora, it's a really nice alternative because she's doing a lot of damage. The point is that with Gamora you can't use her for all ABL days, only for this one where you don't have to use human type. So it's kind of lame to use her only for 1 day, so I would suggest you Luna and after Gwen for this day and have her for the other days also. So let's go to the next one. The next one is round 9, and here we have superhero alien male, and for this day just came Odin, but the news are weird. The best team up for this day feels to be Star-Lord leadership with support of Groot and support of Rocket Raccoon. And that's because even if you have a really good build Odin or a really good build Thor, you can't really outperform having two support Star-Lord. Star-Lord is doing a lot of damage. If you use Star-Lord without supports and Odin without supports or Thor without supports, I feel like both Thor and Odin can outscore him, but because of the fact he can get support from Groot and Rocket Raccoon, and the rest of the characters has no other male support, and also being alien and superhero, you can't really take advantage of anything with Odin and Thor. So Star-Lord keeps his crown on the top of the meta for this day. You can see here he's getting even team ups with these characters. And of course a CTP of Insight could be used for Groot or could be used for Rocket Raccoon, but I would not suggest you to invest Insight for this day, which is weird because, you know, if we get an alien support for Thor or Odin, we could have them out DPS Star-Lord. So the fact only that he has two supports makes him the king of ABL for this specific day. So let's go to the next one. The next one again, it's around 10 and it's no requirement day. On this day you can use also the same thing I told you for the previous round, which was round 3, I think. Yes, round 3. I'm using Jean Grey with Black Cat leadership and one support like Ghost Panther or Dazzler or whatever. But generally, if you find yourself doing more damage in other day, like your Luna Snow, you are a really good player with Luna Snow, or a really good player with Dr. Octopus, and your Jean Grey is not that good build, you have a brilliant rage, let's say, to your Luna, and she's doing crazy amount of damage, you can feel free to use these characters, of course. And there is, some combinations that you can do with the characters for no requirements that I can't even imagine. So feel free to freestyle on this day and find yourself which is the best team for you. For me, and a lot of people, it's still Jean Grey, but yes, I've seen a lot of people doing crazy scores with Luna lately, so I can't really tell you this is the absolute truth. Find the truth yourself, explore your ABL scores, explore the supports and leadership, and that's the really beauty of this game, having 250 characters to use and take advantage of, supports, leaderships. It's really a lot, and perhaps there's something I'm missing. So yeah, let's go to the next one, and round 11. For round 11, it's the weird situation I was telling you before, that you have to use on supervillain female your Jean Grey, so you can't use your Blast Jean on superhero mutant female day, so Storm, it's one way. Because she's the only character usable for this day. She's a female and blast type and mutant, which is so specific, and other than that, the next choice is like Polaris. There's no other character to use and have really high score. Polaris, it's really bad, but still is a support that you can use. Of course, here again, leadership of Polaris, Dazzler support, and Storm feels to be the best team, and that's why I didn't told you that the best is Professor X. Perhaps he's doing a bit more damage than Storm as tier 4, but doesn't really worth building one character for one specific day when you can have both ways, your Storm here and doing really close damage to Professor X also. So yes, that's my suggestion. Let's go to the next one, and round 12. For round 12 we have Supervillain Alien, and this is so specific tag and there is so little characters to use. The best character here for a long time used to be Loki, but after Thanos came into the game, he is the absolute number one here, and we used to use him with Proxima supports. With the last uniforms he has a support buff for all universals, which is 35%, and there were no other. But now, after Enchantress came into the game, she did drop another, this really nice support buff for all the supervillain and for all alien also. So you can see here Thanos, it's the only tier 4 usable on this category, and there is no other to compete with him. Perhaps in the future Loki could replace him, but at the moment he is the absolute number one for this day, having 2 supports and his own leadership. Of course, a CTP of Rage is the best CTP to use for him, and I would suggest you to use for Enchantress the CTP of Insight here, because you can take advantage of her in Blast Villain Day also, where you can use her for ABX or ABL. Basically not ABL, just ABX both days. So that's it, the absolute number one, Thanos, end of round 12. Let's go to the next one. The next one is Universal Male Tag, and for Universal Male Tag it's a lot of characters that you can use, but let me show you the best team that I'm figure out it's for this. So for this day, the only character that can take advantage of both supports of Ghost Panther and Nova, it's Odin with his own leadership or Thor with his own support leadership, depending on the artifact you have on that. Other than that, you can use Thanos or Black Bolt, but in this situation you're losing the support buff of Nova, who gives only support for superheroes. So this day, depending on what you have already built, if you have a really good Thanos, you don't really care if you don't have a second support here. The universal male category, it's really weird, and there is not a lot of male characters to support you in general, but for this specific, only Ghost Panther gives a buff for everyone. So either using Black Bolt, you know, a lot of people has the best score with Black Bolt, Ghost Panther, and someone else as support because Nova is not working, or Thanos because they already have built these characters for other content, or they already have them for the free day. So the no restrictions day, I mean, so you can take advantage of this too. But the point is that Odin and after Thor feels to be the best characters for this day because they are getting advantage of both Nova and Ghost in the same time. So let's go to the last round. The last round, it's Combat Human Male, and here is the same dude that it was for the combat previously, no other than Doc Ock. But for this specific day, because there is no restriction on being a hero or supervillain, you can take advantage of the best leadership for combat type in the game, which is a level 70 tier 2 character, M'Baku. Yes, you heard it right, and it's this buff that he gets, the passive ability 45%, the leadership 30%, so in total it's 75, and combined with his artifact, who provides to all allies 12% basic attack to your group, gives him the opportunity to be the best leadership for this situation here, and for ABX with Moon Knight also for the combat hero day. So yes, I would suggest you having the insight from before on Taskmaster, but the leadership of M'Baku here is one way. He is the best for this day, and Dr. Octopus, of course, with a CTP of Rage, outperforming everyone at tier 4 until now. Second, you could say Namor is a good, so basically on this day you can't really use Namor, you can use Moon Knight. I'm using Moon Knight basically instead of Dr. Octopus, but Dr. Octopus outperforming Moon Knight way more. Venom could be used, but yes, Doc Ock, totally worth it having him for both days and getting advantage of his getting advantage of his DPS for both days. So that was it, a full dedicated and detailed list for all 14 days of ABL. It is a game mode that I really enjoy and play the most in the game, and it's really nice going against others, having high scores and stuff like that, and in the same time having yourself in the top 16 and getting into the Alliance tournament, which is the highest content for, you know, the highest ranked players in the game. I hope you enjoyed, and if you do, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know down below in the comments what's your round 14 characters. I mean, do you feel like I missed something? Do you feel like I should replace something, any other meta I missed, or whatever, you know? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Smash the like button as I told you, and I hope you enjoyed. Kisses in your faces, and see you into the next